This is former All-Pro Dolphins lineman Richmond Webb, and you're listening to The Grueling Truth.
Welcome to Week 15 of the Grueling Truth's NFL Pick'em Show, brought to you by Gridiron Mo, a new interactive football app where you get to call what you think the offense or defense should do during a live NFL game and see what all those other fans have called also. Check out Gridiron Mo at www.gridironmo.com. As always, I'm the host for your Pick'em Show, Mike Goodpaster. I would like to welcome in last week's winner, Leon Searcy. How you doing tonight, Leon?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Who that?
All right, that was, you were supposed to talk a little bit longer. I wasn't prepared for that. Our other co-host was last week. He was tied with me, but he was last because I'm introducing him. Matt Andrew Scavage. How you doing tonight, Matt?
I am doing great.
And our guest picker is a fan of the greatest football team in professional football history, Scott Meyer. Represents RealBengalsFans.com. How you doing tonight, Scott?
I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. I can't wait till we get to meet the Steelers again.
I like that.
That was very convincing.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's start off. A lot of injuries in the NFL this week. I think I heard LeGarrette Blount's out for the season now. What was your big takeaway from this week, Matt?
Well, and just what I got out of this week for the AFC, it's really a mixed bag. New England's still going strong. Doesn't seem to matter what happens. Maybe that'll be different in the playoffs. But as of right now,
right?
Well, they're right back on track. Number one seed in the playoffs, clinched the division. It's hard to really criticize anything they got going on over there. And the NFC
yeah, but I think all three of the top three
teams
teams are in trouble with the injuries.
That could be. The NFC, Carolina just looks like a machine. Arizona looks very good. And Seattle appears to be the only other team that could possibly contend in the NFC. Otherwise, the whole league is just very schizophrenic. One team can be up one week and down the next.
All right, Leon?
Well, I look at the teams that aren't the front runners. Like you said, man, I think the teams sitting at the top have a lot to worry about because they're dealing with injuries. Haven't been consistent in the last couple of games. You want to be playing your best football in December. I think the teams that are scary, I think Seattle's coming along. I think Pittsburgh's coming along. The Jets will be just fine. I think those are the teams you have to worry about going to the playoffs, the teams that are making a nice little run. They're getting healthy. And those teams like that, they're going to scare the top three teams in the league. Carolina, like you said, man, they're a machine. They're just running through everybody. But I'm not sure they've really played anybody of any real caliber, but they just keep freaking winning. I think the Cardinals are doing well. I think the Patriots are banged up. We all saw what Cincinnati did last week. They had a plethora of injuries with Andy Dalton going down, the DB's going down. Broncos, for whatever reason, they're rock solid on defense, but they're just not putting up enough points on the board. They're not running the ball as effectively as they should. I think the teams that I think being the number 1 or 2 seed going into the playoffs is going to be as comfortable as everybody thinks. I think the teams that are like 4 and 5, 6 seeds have a tremendous opportunity to beat them. So I'm looking forward to the playoffs these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and I think the team that's really scary to me in the AFC, believe it or not, are the New York Jets. They have maybe the best offensive line in football. They got Chris Ivory. They got 2 or 3 really good running backs behind him. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't get enough credit for the way he's played. And defensively, as Leon would say, they're rock solid. So I think the Jets are a lot more dangerous than people expect. And I think the game where they play the Patriots, I think it's next weekend or the weekend after, is going to be very interesting. Scott, what do you think?
Very good game.
Scott.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I absolutely believe that the Jets are very solid. I think that I think that it's about time that the Patriots kind of end up having to kneel down to a better team. You know, a lot of times the Patriots end up playing these teams, and you know everybody seems to think that they're pretty decent, and then they go in and they just annihilate them, and you know it's time for them to take a loss.
Yeah, hopefully to take a couple losses. Let's go to the first game of the week. Scott?
I'm sorry, Mike. I was going to mention.
Scott, first game of the week, Tampa Bay at St. Louis.
Well, I'm going to have to take Tampa Bay over St. Louis with the injury to Gurley and inexperience of the weapons for St. Louis. The Tampa Bay should win this by 10.
All right, Leon.
Yeah, I like Tampa Bay. They had a tremendous. They've been playing some good ball as of late the last couple of weeks. They should have won that game against the Saints, unfortunately. The Rams have been the biggest disappointing team this season. I mean, this was one of my pick-em teams to make the playoffs, and for some other reason, Jeff Fisher just can't get a team that can make the playoffs and live up to their expectations. I think the Bucs. I think Jameis Winston is having a fabulous season for his rookie season, and I just think that Tampa Bay is the better team. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay on this one.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I'm going to go with these guys on this one too. Tampa Bay is the better team. I think I don't know how bad Gurley's hurt, but if he's not there, I don't think the Rams have a hard enough time putting up points with him there. I don't see any way they're going to be able to put up points without him. So I think Tampa Bay's going to win this game.
Yeah, I agree, because also it seems like Tampa Bay shows up and plays every other week, so they're due to play well this week. If there's no Gurley, I don't know where St. Louis gets their offense from. Their offensive line's not very good. The receivers are 3 or 4 average guys, I think. Nick Foles, I mean, with 3 or 4 average receivers and no offensive line, he's not going to do anything either. So I'm going to agree if you guys go with Tampa Bay. Leon, Jets at Cowboys.
Jets and Cowboys, this will be an easy one. The Jets are going to win this game. They should win it by a large margin. You got to watch out for the Jets. The Jets are playing great ball right now, especially defensively. Like you said earlier, Kirkpatrick doesn't get a lot of credit for what he's been doing. Offensively, the offensive line for the Jets is rock solid. The Cowboys are in disarray. They cannot win with Matt Capper or Derek McFadden run the football, although he did have 100 yards rushing in the game, but, you know, those was garbage yards, you know, late in the game, whatever. Green Bay had that game under control for the most part of the game. I think the Jets are just a team that you're going to have to watch for come playoff time, and they've got it rolling right now. So I'll get the Jets winning this in the easy one.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, the Jets really should be able to handle this game. You know, like you were talking about, the offensive line's very good, the defensive line's very good. But really, the Jets, even if Chris Ivory has kind of struggled at times. He hasn't, rushed for a ton of yards the last few weeks. But when he gets his opportunities, he will score. He's always a threat, and right behind him is Powell, and he's been playing really good. Just overall, the Jets are a good team, and like Leon said, with Matt Castle out there, there's just no way they're going to be able to pull off a win like this. And the Jets are looking to keep pace, and they need to win this game to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and right now, if they can win out, you're looking at a 5 or 6 seed, and with the injuries the top 3 teams have had, I think the Jets are, as crazy as it sounds, a dark horse contender for the Super Bowl. As Leon said, Fitzpatrick doesn't get enough credit. And, Leon, you've called him Kirkpatrick all year, by the way.
Oh, well, I just call him Captain Kirk for now.
Just call him Ryan from now on, whenever you're talking about. Scott, what's your opinion? Jets at Cowboys?
I definitely am taking the Jets over Dallas. Even if the Cowboys get the ball to Dez, the Jets are playing fundamental football and fighting to stay in the wild card race. So the way they're playing, they're keeping it simple, staying with the fundamentals, and that's key to any success. So absolutely, Jets over Dallas.
All right, Matt, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, Baltimore Ravens, I caught a good amount of the Ravens Seahawks game. And the Ravens are just bad. I mean, Matt Schaub, wow. I can't even believe he's in the league.
That was Jimmy Clausen,
wasn't it?
Well,
you're right. It
Clausen
was
play
Jimmy
this?
Clausen. I was thinking last week it was Schaub.
Because Matt
Clausen
Schaub
did
had
start
actually
this
played
week.
pretty well until he got hurt.
Yeah, you're right. That's true. I just remember the pick six from the week before and just a typical Matt Schaub performance. But, it doesn't seem to matter who's back there right now. Baltimore is just in trouble. They just have almost no personnel on either side of the ball. And Kansas City, they're not a great team. They're not going to win pretty. But they have been grinding out a lot of games this year, and Alex Smith's played decent. They're getting enough production in the run game, and the defense is playing well. So I think I don't think Kansas City is going to have too much trouble with Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm picking against any team that has Jimmy Clausen as their starting quarterback. What do you think, Scott?
Well, I gotta say, I actually think it's good. This is going to be one of those crazy games that you don't expect. I actually have a feeling the Ravens are going to beat the Chiefs, and I think they're a good team, even though the record doesn't indicate it, obviously. But I think they're going to play really strong against the Chiefs at home. I don't really have that much to back it up, as Matt was saying. There's not much as far as personnel, but I just got this feeling that they're going to actually show up this time.
Well, that's going to open the door for the Steelers.
I didn't hear you.
That's going to open the door for the Steelers if the Chiefs were to lose a big game like this.
I'm not afraid of the Steelers.
No, nobody's afraid of the Steelers. Leon, Chiefs. I almost said Colts. Chiefs or Ravens?
Chiefs in this game. Ravens there. Injury prone. They had injuries. They've been disarrayed all season long. They're just not a really good team. The Chiefs, they've been on a little win streak as of late. Really not impressed with them that much offensively. Defensively, they got after it. I was very surprised by how effective they were against Phillip Rivers. He's still Rivers. I was expecting him to light it up against it, but that defense got after him. They had over 5 sacks against them. Just really not impressed with them offensively. They did run the ball decent. I just thought they're going to have to score a lot more points playoff time. And if the offense is not going to be as effective, they'll be one and done if they even make the playoffs. But they'll beat the Ravens easily in this game, so I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Yeah, Scott, I could agree with you if they had Matt Schaub instead of Jimmy Clausen about giving him a game, because I think John Harbaugh is a great coach. I don't even think against Seattle they laid down. I just don't think they've got the guy under center that has a chance of giving them a win. But
right.
That's why they play the games. We've been surprised before. Next game, big one for first place in the AFC South. The Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. I guess that one's mine. I'm gonna go with Houston just because Indianapolis looked like they gave up last week against Jacksonville. They go from leading 13-3 to losing like 51-13. So I'm going to go with Houston. What do you think, Scott?
Oh, absolutely. Houston over the Colts, without a doubt. After losing to the Patriots, I expect the Texans to take care of business against a disorganized Colts team. It's complete disarray.
Leon?
I'm going to go with the Colts in this one. They looked abysmal last week against the Jaguars, and I agree with you, Mike. They did lay it down. They were up 13-3. I thought the Jaguars was just wrong. All of a sudden, the Jaguars found an offense. They just started letting them up and scored 51 points against them. So, but they're back at home. Hopefully they can rectify the mistakes that they made against the Jaguars. I just don't think the Texans have enough offense with both defense. So this is a point to go with the Colts. I think they show up at home. I think they win this game at home against the Texans. So I'm going to go with the Colts to win.
All right, Matt.
I think the Texans have a clear advantage here. One thing I've really noticed is the emergence of Jadeveon Clowney. J.J. Watt is obviously probably the best defensive lineman in the league. I don't think too many people will be arguing with that. He's going to see double teaming all the time. Clowney, if you watch him, he's improving and he's becoming a force back there. And they got Vince Wilfork plugging up the middle. Overall, I really like this Houston defense, and against that Colts offensive line, I see them really getting after Matt Hasselbeck, and he's banged up. He was taking some shots last week. On the offensive side of the ball, I think they can run on this Colts defense. They've got just enough guys that can get the job done, and I don't think I think DeAndre Hopkins can get open. Brian Hoyer should be able to find guys, and it probably won't be pretty. But I think they could win something like 24-10. I see Houston win this game.
All right, next game, Leon, Tennessee at New England.
The Patriots are going to win this game easily. I think the Patriots, you got Tom Brady. This is the time when he gets hot, December. Unfortunate loss against, I don't know how in the world they lost to the Eagles at home, but they seem to have bounced back against, although the Texans did get after Tom Brady a bit, but he still was effective, was able to come out with the victory. I just think that they rectified the problems, the mistakes they've made over the last couple of weeks. And the Texans just aren't that good. They're not a good team. They're just not a good team. I just think the Patriots win this game, so I'm going to pick the Patriots.
All right, Matt?
Oh, yeah, the Titans they're just not very good at all. They've got a couple of guys that can get yards, but they tend to be decent, in between the 20s. But they're just not the kind of team that's going to consistently be able to put up a lot of points. Mariota's having a nice year, but against New England, I would expect Bill Belichick to totally out-scheme the Titans in this one. Tom Brady's going to light them up. This is at home. There's really no reason to pick against New England. New England's got this one.
Yeah, New England wins this game. I mean, Tennessee is a tough team when you got to play them at Tennessee, and they even gave Carolina some problems, stayed in the game in the fourth quarter. But on the road, they've been horrible this year, and I think that continues. Moving on to the next game, Leon, Buffalo at Washington.
Any other day, this will be an easy game to pick, but for some reason, the Redskins, they totally surprised me. Well, they beat Chicago. I did not see that coming. They've been playing decent football, especially at home. They play decent football. I don't think this game is going to be as easy as everybody suspects. The Bills lost a tough one to the Eagles last week. I like Tyrod Taylor. Shady McCoy was pretty decent against his old team. The defense at times will let you down, which is surprising to me. With Coach Ryan and this being his baby, they've let the team down in crucial points of the game. And the Redskins, they play decent at home, but I'm gonna pick the Redskins. I'm gonna take the Redskins at home to upset Buffalo. So I'm gonna pick the Redskins to win this game.
Yeah. All right, Matt.
Yeah, I'm going with Leon on this. I don't really like the matchup. I mean, if this was 1991, this would be great. But these are two teams that I could see either team having an advantage early and blowing the game. I'm going to take Washington in a close game. They're at home. They're tied for the division lead. They have a real chance to win this division, which is just crazy, but they do. And I think they can get it done. I don't think Buffalo is all that good. At times they can be, but overall they're still not there yet.
Yeah, I agree, and my big difference is this. Washington's still playing for something. Buffalo's pretty much done. So I'm going to go with the Redskins. I don't feel comfortable picking either team here, but I'm going to go with the Redskins because they're at home, and I think they're playing for a little bit more, and Cousins seems to usually go off at home. Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess I'm going to be the odd one out on this one. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with Buffalo. The main reason for that, though, has to do with the identity crisis for the Redskins. I mean, they, and on the other side, you got Sammy Watkins that's quickly becoming a beast of a receiver, and Tyrod Taylor, and he's got skills. So I'm going to go with Buffalo on this one.
All right, Matt, next game, Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings.
Chicago at Minnesota. Interesting game. It's on paper, Minnesota should run away with this, but it's a divisional game. Sometimes those tend to be a little different than what we think. I'm going to go with Minnesota. I think they should be able to control this game on both sides of the ball. They're kind of fighting for their playoff lives. They've got to bounce back. They've lost 2 out of 3, and they've got to show that they can get back in the good graces of all the analysts. So I'm thinking Minnesota should be able to run the table. They should be able to win by 2 touchdowns, but wouldn't be surprised if it was a close game. But I'll go Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Minnesota, too. I would be surprised if it's a close game. I mean, it's at Minnesota. The Bears, for some reason, can't hold on to a lead, and I think the biggest difference between the two teams is I think Minnesota's defense is really good. I know their offense isn't great, but I think the defense wins them the game. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I got the Vikings over the Bears. The Vikings don't win in flashy ways, but, that's to be expected from a Mike Zimmer team, Adrian Peterson's obviously going to get his carries, and that's going to lead them to the victory, I think.
All right, Leon.
Yeah, I like the Vikings at home. Yeah, I think they're playing for a little bit more. They're at home. And like you said, Matt, they have lost 2 of the 3 games. It was good to see, Teddy Bridgewater, kind of the ball down the field a little bit, threw for over 300 yards the last game. I just think the Vikings are a better team. I think Adrian Peterson is going to get his touches. I think their defense is as good as advertised, especially at home. And they'll force Cutler into making a couple of mistakes that he normally makes in crucial games. So I got the Vikings winning this one. But I think it's going to be a close game. So I think the Vikings win this one close.
All right, next game, guess that's mine, the Atlanta Falcons at Jacksonville. I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I mean, Atlanta's looked like they've packed it in. What do you think, Scott?
Atlanta's. I mean, just look at the record. I mean, it's pretty much over the Jags. You have to take the Jags in this one, really. Jacksonville especially is playing hot right now. And then what's Atlanta's record over the past 8 weeks? Like 1-7 or something.
So they've lost 7 of 8.
Yeah, they're so bad they lost to the 49ers.
That's bad. That's bad.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
There's the first jab.
Right,
I'm definitely going with the Jags.
Yeah, I got the Jags in this one. I don't think it's going to even be close. I think, especially at home, the Jaguars, they're showing themselves to be pretty effective at home. Got the offense rolling a little bit last week against the Colts, and the Falcons have been the biggest pretenders all season long. Started off 5-0, and like you said, they lost 7 out of the last 8 games. So I think the Jaguars win this game easily. So I'm picking Jacksonville to win.
All right, Matt.
I actually like this game to be one of the more exciting games of the week. Not that the Falcons are very good at all. I don't think Atlanta's very good at all. However, Jacksonville, at times they look really good, like last week. Jacksonville is still a young, emerging team. They're not quite there yet. I think Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and Devontae Freeman will be able to get points and yards against this team. I expect this to be this could potentially be one of those high-scoring games, but I'm going to go with Jacksonville to pull it out at the end.
Man, you went through all that to come up with that. I thought you were going to pick Atlanta.
No, I'm not picking Atlanta, but I think this is going to be actually a pretty exciting game.
Hey, real quick, we got to take a word from one of our sponsors. So check out Gridiron Mow at www.gridironmow. We'll be back right after this commercial.
This is former All-Pro Leon Searcy. I've got a new interactive app called Gridiron Mow, where you get to call the plays, offense or defense, and a live NFL game. You get to interact with other fans, pick the play, pick the call. That's Gridiron Mow.
We're back with Week 15 of the Grueling Truth NFL Pick'em Show. I'm your host, Mike Goodpassford, my co-host, Matt Andrews-Scavage, Leon Searcy, and Scott Meyer, our guest picker from RealBengalsFans.com. Scott, you're up. Carolina Panthers at the New York Giants.
Carolina Panthers at the New York Giants, you say?
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the Giants over the Panthers. I know that that's not going to be popular. But I think it's time. I think that the Giants are going to take them down. OBJ, will continue to be the focal point since no one can seem to stop him. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Giants over the Panthers in this one and see the
All right,
Giants.
Leon?
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Giants. I want to pick the Giants in the upset. I think they're going to be playing at home. Carolina is rolling. They have a defense. They have a very, very, very good defense. Cam Newton is definitely one of the top 4 as far as MVP candidates go. But I just think for some reason Tom Coughlin is going to get those guys together and play a game that they played against the Patriots, which they should have won. I think this is that type of game. I think they're going to play. They're going to play Lynch. They're essentially their Super Bowl in this game against the Carolina Panthers. The Giants are still on the outside looking in with an opportunity to still win the NFC. I think they're playing for a lot more. I think the Panthers, at any time, this is the game they could be lulled to sleep. Everybody's going to pick them to be the favorite to go into New York, but I think the Giants come away and steal this one. Maybe come down to a last second. I think the Giants are going to, upset the perfect season for the Panthers. So I'm going to go with the Giants in an upset.
All right, Matt.
This is historically, this is the time of year. I've seen 13-0 teams, and it's very hard to get to that 14th win. I remember Denver '98. I've seen this before.
At the Giants.
Yep, you're right. You guys bring up good reasons why the Giants could win this game. I'm going to go with Carolina. I think they are still playing for home field advantage. Got Arizona hot on their trail. I think they're a much better team than the Giants. Though Odell Beckham could give them some trouble. But they've got Josh Norman, and they've got that defense. I think Carolina's going to win this game. It might not be real pretty, but they might win. I think they're going to win this.
Yeah, I just – the Odell Beckham Jr. thing is all set by Josh Norman, I think. So, Beckham will get some catches, might get a touchdown, but I don't think he can go off on him. And if he can't go off on him, I don't see where they get the points. That, and the thing is this. I watched Miami put 24 on the Giants' defense. The Giants' run defense is not very good. Carolina can run the ball. Carolina has a good offensive line. The Giants have a terrible defense. I think their DBs are very bad. I think the only thing that keeps them afloat is Eli Manning and Odell Beckham Jr., and it seems to me the games they win are when they play teams that aren't that good. So I'm going to go with Carolina. It wouldn't surprise me if the Giants gave them a game and actually even won it just because of what you guys said about the 13-0 and you're bound to lose at some point. But when you match them up, I just can't see doing it. So next game, Green Bay at Oakland, Leon.
I think this is going to be a good game. Green Bay seems to have bounced back offensively. Aaron Rodgers is playing like Aaron Rodgers again. The Raiders, they're tough. I like what Jack Del Rio's been doing as a coaching staff. They're 6-7. A couple of close losses that they during the season, but they're at the black hole. This is going to be a black and blue game. I think it's going to be a very physical thing. I think the Raiders come away with the upset. I think the Green Bay come to town. They did get Lacey's playing. He had 100 yards rushing last game. He looked real effective running the ball. Aaron Rodgers is, finding his weapons. I just think the Raiders at home with that defense, David Carr, I think they get it done. I think they pull away the upset. I think the Raiders win this in the upset. So pick the Raiders.
All right, Matt.
I do think this is going to be a good football game. Charles Woodson has already come out and said he wants to make Green Bay pay. He's having a very good season. I think he can get this team up, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Mac, I think he's going to give that offensive line an absolute fix. He's going to be in Aaron Rodgers' face a lot. What the Packers have going for them, though, is they can run the ball. James Starks is good. If Eddie Lacy can, if Mike McCarthy will not shy away from the run, I think that will be the key to the victory. I don't care what anybody says. The offense of the Packers is still not right. It's very easy when you play Dallas at home. That's a cure-all for anything. They still didn't look all that good. They were only up 14-7 in the fourth quarter. I wouldn't say that their offense is back, but if they can run the ball, I would expect Green Bay to win this. But I think this will be a good game. I think I'll take Green Bay in a close one.
Okay, I'm going to go with Oakland. I was not impressed with what Green Bay did to Dallas. I think that there's high school teams that could shut out Dallas right now. They've got Murray, who's a good running back. And as you say, Green Bay's offensive line is terrible. It's about like Denver's. I think Khalil Mack will have a big game. The Raiders' defensive line is pretty good. DB-wise, they're not terrible. There's still no Jordy Nelson in Green Bay, and there's not going to be. I think Green Bay is vastly overrated. I think they're getting by just on having Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, so I'm going with the upset, and I'm going to agree with Leon and go with Oakland. Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, I like the Raiders, D. Man, I know that the Packers seem to have been falling apart recently, but I think Aaron Rodgers is due for a big game. I mean, I understand that there's still some issues there with the team as a whole, but he's been down. So, so at some point you got to turn the corner and have a big game. So I'm going to go with the Packers on this one, and actually look to see Aaron Rodgers try to have a big game for his team.
Yeah, but see, Scott, I don't think Aaron Rodgers has not played well because he's not playing well or he's cold. I think he's not playing well because he's getting hit a lot.
Well, yeah.
Well, there's nobody open, too. There's something wrong with the overall offense.
Yeah,
the thing that's overall wrong with the Green Bay Packers and has been for years is their head football coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he cost them a shot to go to the Super Bowl and win one last year. I mean, if you give Aaron Rodgers, Bill Belichick, he's probably won 3 or 4 Super Bowls by now, but he doesn't. He's got Mike McCarthy. Next game, I think that's Matt, right? Matt, Cleveland at Seattle. I gave you a tough one.
Oh, God. Well, this goes to say how bad my team is. Cleveland looked pretty good against us, and they're not good at all. Seattle is going to
24-3 at one point, Matt?
Oh, it was just abysmal. It's like they didn't even show up. There are a lot of guys that were hurt. A lot of key guys were out, but it was just the effort of the team just was not there. They had like no game plan whatsoever. But Cleveland is as bad as what we played against Cleveland is what Cleveland is going to. That's how they're going to be in Seattle. Seattle's going to absolutely blow them out of the water. Russell Wilson is as hot as any quarterback in the league right now. He's had 4 really amazing games, and they're just getting hotter and hotter as they go. I would just expect Seattle. They could win by 50 if they wanted to.
Yeah, I'm going Seattle. It doesn't even have to be explained because the Cleveland Browns are playing. Scott?
Yeah, Johnny Manziel at quarterback against the Legion of Boom. Need I say more?
Actually, Jim Manziel against anybody outside of the 49ers is a mismatch. Leon?
Yeah, this is Seattle easy. I mean, Cleveland's in the way. I mean, Seattle's playing some great football right now. Second half of the season, like you said, Matt, Russell Wilson could easily be an MVP candidate the way he's been playing the last 4 or 5 games. The Browns are in the way, and Seattle's going to run through them. So Seattle's going to win this easily.
All right, we go to our next game, which is Detroit at New Orleans. Is that mine? God, that's mine. It might be one of them coin flip games, Matt.
Yeah.
It's in New Orleans. They got Drew Brees. I'm going with the Saints. That's the only – I mean, I don't have any logical explanation. I don't think either team's that great. I think they're both maybe better than what they've played, but New Orleans' defense is terrible. But they've got Drew Brees. Detroit's got Matt Stafford. I'm going with Brees. What do you think, Scott?
I think I'm going to go with the Lions in this one, just mainly because ever since the Saints lost Jimmy Graham, the offense hasn't really been the same for Drew Brees and company, man. But I'm going to go with the Lions on this one. It is a coin flip, absolutely.
All right, Leon.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Saints only because they're playing at home. Both teams aren't really that good, but I'll take Brees over Stafford any day, especially at home. They haven't looked the same ever since Jimmy Graham left. Their defense is still horrible. The Saints defense is still horrible. But I just think the Lions defense is a bit more atrocious than the Saints. And I think Drew Brees is going to be a lot more effective at home. So I think the Saints are going to win this one easily.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, these two teams are very similar. As a whole, they're almost mirror images of each other, just very inconsistent. At times they can play well, especially at home. Saints are at home. I don't know how good of a game this will be, but I would just expect the Saints to win this at home.
All righty. We got next game. That would be Scott, Arizona at Philadelphia.
Yeah, I got the Cardinals on this one. Played in prime time. Palmer is playing at a pretty high level. I don't necessarily want to see Palmer pull it off, just to be honest. On a side note, personal note, but I think that they're hitting all cylinders, and I think they're going to take. I think they're going to take the game pretty easily against the Eagles.
All right, what a little sour grapes there from Scott. Leon, Arizona at Philadelphia.
I'm gonna take the Eagles. They're playing in Philadelphia, right? I'm going to take the Eagles. I think the Eagles.
Yes, they are. Yeah, I think this game is a bigger toss-up than what people think also.
Yeah, I think so. I think the Eagles are going to win this game. Their last couple of games, they found their defense somehow. Sam Bradford's coming back. Chip Kelly's done something the last 3 weeks with the team where they've been playing very good football. It looked very effective. They haven't been lights out on offense, but they've controlled the clock. They moved the ball. I think Carolina is probably the best team in the NFC. But I think that against Philadelphia, I think the Eagles pull this upset. So I'm going to go with the Eagles in the upset.
All right,
I like
Matt.
the sound of that, Leon. I like the sound of that.
I think Arizona's going to win this game. If this was in Arizona, I think they would absolutely blow them out just because of the air attack that they seem to have at home. But on the road, I do think the Eagles are going to have a lot of trouble when Arizona spreads them out with all those receivers because David Johnson's also a very effective receiver. I don't know that they've got the defense to be able to cover all those guys. I do think the Eagles are going to give them a little bit of trouble, but Arizona's going to get this done because of their defense. They're going to be able to get after the quarterback, and I think they're going to be able to shut down anybody who touches the ball from the backfield. I just don't see where Philadelphia's going to get a lot of points on this defense.
Well, I think this. I think the game is a toss-up. I think Arizona is a superior team, but you're playing in Philadelphia. You're playing a night game in Philly. It's going to be cold. Carson Palmer's not the greatest bad weather quarterback in the world, but neither Sam Bradford. I would like to pick Philadelphia, not because I don't like Carson Palmer. I actually appreciate what Carson Palmer did for the Bengals, Scott, because I think he woke Mike Brown up when he did what he did, and I think it ended up working out the best for both of them. But I'm going to go with Arizona just because I think they're a vastly superior team. But it wouldn't surprise me if Philadelphia pulls the upset. What do we got? Leon next, Miami at San Diego.
Oh, man. Yeah, both of these are both bad teams, underachieving teams. Really not impressed with Tannehill and his development as a quarterback. Just vastly inconsistent. Miami's defense, they wouldn't spend all that money defensively. Yeah, they've had vast injuries or whatever, but they can't get up to the passer. For the most part, they can't stop the run. But the Chargers, they just look horrible against the Chiefs. I don't know if it was offensively what the Chiefs were doing or the fact that they just can't run the ball.
But they don't have any wide receivers left except for Antonio Gates.
Exactly. It was. I'm gonna go with the Chargers for some reason. This is another coin flip. I think both teams, like I said, very inconsistent. But I'll pick the Chargers in this game.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, it's a complete snoozer of a game. The Dolphins, like Leon said, have just been so inconsistent. They do have talent. Tannehill has looked decent at times. I thought he looked pretty good last night for a while there, at least. But they're just not consistent enough. They're at least a couple of years away from really being able to even contend for a wild card spot. San Diego, not much better. I'm going to go with Phillip Rivers being he's a better quarterback. And they're at home. I don't really have much other than that.
I know what you mean, because on paper, Miami's the better team. Phillip Rivers is better than Ryan Tannehill. But I'm going to go with Miami. I don't know why, other than the fact that San Diego has had a hard time scoring points, except for when they played Baltimore over the last month. I think Phillip Rivers has actually had a great season for what he's got around him. I think he's a very underrated quarterback. But I'm going to go with the Dolphins in the slight upset. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I just flipped a coin about 10 seconds ago on this one.
That always works on this show, too. You can ask Matt.
I was going to say, you got to come back now because that's how we pick some of these games.
right. Throw a dart, But the only reason I'm picking the Chargers on this one is simply because it's on the West Coast. That's it. So you got nothing else.
All righty. That's not really a coin toss because you gave a reason. You're just supposed to flip the coin dramatically and then tell us whether it's heads or tails. So if you're ever going to do this again, you got to remember, you got to be dramatic. You got to give the pause and actually let us hear the coin smack on the back of your hand.
Got it. Nice. I'll let it hit the glass table.
Who's next, Matt? Me or you?
I don't know. That might be you.
Okay. I think it's you. Yeah, Leon, you just started that one, didn't you? Because San Diego.
Yeah, I did.
All right. We are going. I mean, we've got the two biggest games in the history of civilization coming up. They're the last two games we got to pick. This one we'll see, if Matt Anderscavage is a real 49ers fan or not. We've got the Cincinnati Bengals with A.J. McCarron at the San Francisco 49ers with Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah. The problem is I just don't. I mean, not that it matters. Cincinnati's going to win this game regardless, but I would think the Niners would be able to give them a little bit of trouble just based on the injuries that Cincinnati does have and the fact that it's a backup quarterback coming in. The 49ers do play better at home. Not that that's saying a lot, but their best games of the year have come at home. The problem is it's too early in the week to even know who's coming back. I think they're going to be so shorthanded. What little they have may not even be there. So I'll take Cincinnati to win this. If the Niners have like Aaron Lynch back, I think he'd be able to get after A.J. McCarron. I think they might be able to give him a game for a while, depending on if some of these guys are back. But I think in the end, Cincinnati will just be able to get it done.
All right, Leon, did you notice how Matt just gave the excuse why his team's going to lose?
Yeah.
No, I said they'd lose either way. Didn't I say they'd lose either way?
Yeah, but you're
I just think they could give you a game.
Yeah, the Bengals are missing their best cover corner, a Pro Bowl safety possibly. They're starting quarterback.
I said they'd win either way.
And I just would like to bring up the fact that you still think that the Bengals are a lot better than the 49ers.
Well, I do. Especially at this point of the year, this is, they're not very good right now. What do you want me to say?
That's all I wanted you to say. All right, I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think the Bengals win this game something like 31-10. I don't think it'll be close. I actually think it would have been closer if Dalton would have played the entire game last week and the Bengals would have won, because I think they would have overlooked the Niners. I think the big thing here is they're not going to overlook anybody with their backup quarterback in. I think A.J. McCarron can get the job done against this type of team. I think he can beat Baltimore. I think he can beat Denver. I think they can actually win out with McCarron. My only problem is when you get to the playoffs, I don't know if you can go to New England and win with A.J. McCarron, and that's the one thing that worries me there. So I think it puts a definite dent in their opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, but also hopefully Dalton will be back by the playoffs. And if they win all three games, they'll be a 1 or 2 seed and get a week off. Scott, what's your opinion?
Well, it goes without saying I'm picking the Bengals over the 49ers in this one. But let me just say this: you got the two-time BCS champion quarterback A.J. McCarron lighting up a team that's 31st on the NFL power rankings. So Blaine Gabbert, he hasn't won back-to-back games in 32 career starts. So I highly doubt he's going to break that whole line. And then plus the fact is I think after what happened last week, they're going to be hungry. The Bengals are going to be ready to win, and they're just going to run away with this one. I'd say it's going to be by 2 touchdowns.
Scott, on the NFL power rankings, who is rated below San Francisco?
I didn't see it.
There can't be too many. Maybe
I know, because they lost to Cleveland, which would be my first guess.
Losing to Cleveland really hurts.
And the bad thing is this: during the game, it's like 14-3 or 21-3. And Matt texted me that the Niners had so many injured players; they're all third stringers. And then I reminded him that that's all Cleveland has anyway, so it made it an even matchup.
Well, yeah, their third stringers are better than ours. What can I say?
Well, maybe Manziel wasn't drunk that game, so he played a little bit better. Leon, what do you think?
Yeah, man, I would have gave the Niners at least 2 quarters against the Bengals with all the injuries they had and playing with a backup quarterback. But the way I saw y'all play against Manziel, I don't think you can even have a shot with all the vast amount of injuries that the Bengals have. So, the Bengals, the Niners just look bad. They look bad against Cleveland, which is very surprising to them. I actually picked them to win last week. But I think the Bengals, the 49ers offensive line is horrible. I think the Cincinnati Bengals defensive line is going to get after them. Blaine Gabbert is going to throw a couple of picks. And even if you're missing your top corner and your top safety, you're still going to probably get 2 or 3 picks for playing Gabbert the way he's been playing the game. I think the Bengals are going to bounce back, after the loss to the Steelers last week. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder, and I think this is going to be a blowout. I think the Bengals are going to win this game easily.
Yeah, I love
all
hearing
right.
Leon.
Well, we got to catch. Well, I mean, Leon knows who the best team in football is. He's told me.
Nice.
We can bring up the tapes, Leon.
Yeah, I know.
But real quick, we got to take a word from our last sponsor, SteelbergBox.com. So make sure you check out SteelbergBox.com for any Pittsburgh Steeler fans you want to buy something for Christmas for. Man, that really hurt to say that after last week. And I would like to say, Dennis and Clay out there, and anybody listening to the show, I was wrong. You guys were right. But we will see you again. We'll be back right after this.
I'd like to tell you about our new website, www.steelbergbox.com. A monthly fan box service built to take a fan's passion for the Pittsburgh Steelers to a whole new level. Offering 3 different fan boxes to choose from and several different plans, fans are guaranteed to get way more value in their box than they paid. It's simple. Drop by www.steelbergbox.com. Choose the category and size: men, women, youths, and infants. Then, pick one of our 3 Steelers merchandise fan boxes. After you choose your fan box, hit subscribe. Then choose your monthly plan. You're done. Go Steelers.
All right, we're back with the Week 15 NFL Grueling Truth Pick'em show. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster. We got Scott here from RealBengalsFans.com, former All-Pro offensive lineman Leon Searcy, and, a guy whose team lost to the Cleveland Browns last week by 2 touchdowns, Matt Andrew Scavage.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually fair. I can live with that. We deserve that.
So you have to. You can't really argue with it, but you could try. But
no, it's not worth it. Not when you lose to Cleveland.
This brings it to what we think is the game of the week. So we'll spend a little bit more time on this one. It's the final game of the week. Going into this week, me and Matt were still tied for first. Leon is 2 games back. So we got the Gridiron Mo NFL game of the week on the Grueling Truth here. We've got the Denver Broncos at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I guess I'm starting this one off. I like Pittsburgh. I just don't see – I think Denver's defense is good enough to slow the Steelers down and give them some trouble. But I don't see what Brock Osweiler, very little running game. I mean, for some reason now Demaryius Thomas and Vernon Davis are dropping passes left and right. I just think offensively they're going to struggle, and I think Denver's in trouble. And I don't know who they played the last game of the season, but I could see Denver even losing A.J. McCarron and the Bengals to next week. And if the Chiefs were to win out and the Broncos lose 3, the Chiefs could actually sneak in and win the division. Not saying that's going to happen, but I think it is a possibility now. So I'm going to go with Pittsburgh, something like 27-10. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that, Mike. Even though I don't like to talk about Pittsburgh winning, that as far as Denver goes, I mean they haven't been the same in the recent past, and Pittsburgh's pretty hot right now. Even though I hate to even have to have that come out of my mouth. And playing at home, that's going to give them even more fire to play with the intensity to take Broncos out. So, I have to pick Pittsburgh, unfortunately.
All right. Well, why are you laughing, Leon? Because you know how many times this year you've picked Cincinnati reluctantly?
Leon, I'm picturing that cigar in your mouth every time you laugh.
It sounds like both of y'all have root canals. Y'all have root canals having to say the Steelers are going to win this week.
Not really. We don't really care. Go ahead. We're in first place by 2 games.
Hey, it won't last. It won't last. Well,
so are you making a prediction that the Steelers will win the AFC North?
Of course not. Of course not.
Okay. Well, then it will last, Leon. Now pick the damn game.
Hey, listen. As long as we got to do is get in the dance. That's all we worried about. I'm picking the Steelers to win this game. I'm going to be at the game. I'm going to be black and gold down, tailgate. I'm looking forward to this game. Steelers are hot. Now, they're going to have some trouble. The Broncos' defense is legit. They're going to be legit. I don't think the Steelers are going to be as open as they were last week against the Bengals. I mean, it was a free-for-all the way the receivers were getting open last week against the Bengals. I think the Denver defense is a little better. But
You're crazy. They're better than the injured Bengals.
Yeah,
they're better than the injured. They're better than the Bengals with Pac-Man Jones and George. I love it.
But right now, they're the better defense because y'all got some issues defensively. But I think the Steelers, they're going to spread them out. They've got to run the ball because they're going to put pressure on. The Steelers' offensive line played well against the Bengals. They're going to have to play. They're going to have another A-plus game against the Broncos. They get after the passer. They can cover the receivers. Big Ben is playing well. He's finding the receivers in the zones. He's taking his deep shots. Defensively, I don't think the Broncos have anything to. They can't run the ball. They're gonna put the game in the quarterback's hand. I think the DBs scare me a little bit still with the Steelers, but I think they're just going to be good enough at home to win. So I think the Steelers are going to win this game.
Well, I think the problem with the Broncos, Leon, is the fact that it seems like every pass they throw is at 5 or 10 yards, and that won't really threaten the Steelers' DBs as much.
That's true. It's too much dink and dunk. I can't remember when was the last time he threw a long ball past 20 or 30 yards. I mean, everything's been little short dinks and dunks. I don't think that beats the Steelers. I think with Ben Roethlisberger and his receiving core and his ability to throw the ball downfield, I think he was going to put too much pressure on the Denver Broncos DBs. I think the Steelers are going to win this game.
Yeah, I think it's a game where the defense will hold up and keep them in the game for a half, and then I think just the Steelers having the ball the entire game because Denver can't get any first downs, it'll end up breaking their back. But Matt, what do you think? Go ahead, Leon.
Go ahead, Leon.
I was going to say, I agree with you with the Broncos. They're in trouble. They're in trouble. This late in the season, making the playoff push, not being effectively as they should be offensively. I think those teams like the Chiefs, the teams that are playing well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this team falls maybe to a 3 seed, maybe a 4 seed. But the way they're playing, because if they don't win these last couple of games, they could be sitting there at 11-5 or 10-6. And
yeah, they could lose the division to Kansas City if Kansas City wins out. Kansas City's schedule is not real tough the rest of the way. Denver's is a lot tougher, I think. I'm not sure who Denver plays the last game of the season, but I know if they lose the game to Cincinnati, that's probably going to drop them to a 3 seed. If they lose that third game, that could drop them all the way to a 5 or a 6 seed.
Absolutely. And now they got to go on the road to win a playoff game.
Yeah, and I mean, really, if Pittsburgh beats Denver, wins out, Pittsburgh's the 5 and Denver would be the 6 if they lose out.
Yep.
And, I mean, the thing that's amazing out of that is we're not talking about the Bengals having that possibility.
Right.
So, I mean, that tells me that Denver has bigger problems than just the quarterback also. And, I mean, to me, that's the running game and the offensive line.
Oh, yeah. They look bad, real bad.
Because you can cover up a young quarterback like an A.J. McCarron or Landry Jones because you had D'Angelo Williams running the ball and you had Antonio Brown catching it. I mean, with the Bengals, you've got, Rudy Johnson. Jeremy Hill, nice. Dio Bernard running the ball, a decent offensive line, and A.J. Green to throw to. It makes it a lot easier when it's like that. And I think Demaryius Thomas is a little banged up, too, because I've never seen him run routes the way he has this last few weeks and drop as many passes as he's dropped. So, Matt?
Yeah, I think the Steelers really have the advantage in this game. Like you guys were saying, the Broncos don't throw a lot of deep balls. The problem with Denver, as good as their defense is and as talented as their team is, if the Steelers get up on them at all, they're going to be in real trouble because I just don't see where the Broncos are going to be able to put up a lot of points. Like you said, they're probably not going to test those DBs. They have the receiver talent to be able to do that, but I don't know if it's just scheme or what it is exactly. But if they continue the short game, I think that plays right into the Steelers' hands. I do think the Steelers are going to be able to do just enough on offense, especially on the run game, to frustrate the Broncos' defense. I do see this talented group of receivers making some big plays, and Heath Miller is going to be a problem over the middle. Ben Roethlisberger is a great quarterback. This could be, like you said, 27-10 is a very, very strong possibility. I'm going to go more with a 21-17, but I think the Steelers can probably win this game.
Yeah, I actually, it would shock me if Denver was to beat Pittsburgh. Just from what I've seen from Denver.
If Denver's going to do anything this year, they have to win this game.
Well, they have to win the next two if they're going to do anything this year.
Yeah. Well, I think they have a better chance of winning just because they'd be at home. But this is a really tough game for them. They got to go on the road to Pittsburgh. They have to win this game if they want to.
Well, and the other problem you've got with the rest of the season for them is they're already beat up a little bit. And, I mean, I don't think anybody argued that Pittsburgh and Cincinnati are two of the most physical teams in the NFL. And, I mean, they get knocked around those 2 weeks, and they could really be depleted.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, the Broncos will be one and done in the playoffs. I just can't see them. They'll get in because of their record because they started off so hot in the beginning of the season. But I think there's just too many. They got matchup problems. I mean, they can't. They beat the Patriots. I don't know how that happened, but they did it. I don't see them going on the road beating Cincinnati. I don't see them beating the Jets. Kansas City playing a lot. They're playing well. Steelers are playing well. I mean, like you said, they can easily lose out and be a 5-6 seed and get bounced in the first round. I can't see them having any kind of real impact in the playoffs. They'll get there, but they won't be that effective once they get there.
Yeah, and the real question is Peyton Manning going to play again?
Right.
Exactly.
Right. That's a real, who knows? I mean,
and my guess is if they lose those 2 games, they're going to get desperate and they're going to play him.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Oh, yeah, they're going to play him. Yeah.
And I think the real problem right now is John Fox is known for being a real conservative coach. So I think they've put so many chains on Brock Osweiler and what he can do in that
Chicago.
offense.
John
It
Fox
hurts a lot of teams that do it. I mean, once you put the chain, the biggest thing to me is Mark Sanchez with the Jets. I mean, Mark Sanchez with the Jets was going to get him to 2 championship games, but if you watch those games even, they put him in a situation where they ask him not to make a mistake to lose the game. If you go out as a professional athlete and you're just trying not to make a mistake, you're never going to win the game. Do you agree, Leon?
I agree. They sheltered. It's funny you brought up Sanchez. They sheltered now. You know, they played They had tough defensively, but it basically gave Sanchez the ball and said, "Please don't make a mistake. We got a good enough defense to get it done." And I think the Broncos are in that situation, where they don't have to have a good defense, but they're just not going to put up enough points. They can't run the ball. Offensive line is not that good. They can't run the ball. Can't protect the passer. I know they say defense wins championships, but you got a points. I believe points win championships, and I don't think the Broncos are going to be able to put up enough points come playoff time to be effective. So they'll be one and done if they do get in.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be able to score points. I mean, if you look at it, probably the greatest Steeler defense was 1976, but Terry Bradshaw was hurt a lot, and, Harris and Blyer get hurt. They couldn't put up the points. They lost in the playoffs 24-7 to the Raiders when they probably had the better team. And, I mean, it's just the 77 Falcons, I think. Matt, haven't they still given up less points than anybody in NFL history on defense?
Very possible because that was still a 14. Well, that was 77, so it was a 14-game season.
It was a 14-game season, but they only gave up like 146 points or something.
Yeah, it was very minimal. I mean, the Ravens may have gotten it's very close, but that 77 Falcons defense gets very overlooked.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the greatest defenses ever, coached by Jerry Glanville, but when it came down to it, I think they were a 7-7 team with the number one defense by far. I mean, another comparison, 1983, Scott Bengals, number one defense overall, ended 7-9. Because you had Anderson get hurt by that cheap shot by that Keith Gary dude to turn his head around. Made him look like the Exorcist on there. And then on top of that, you get Pete Johnson with his problems where he couldn't play. So you had the number one defense there, but you're 7-9. So, I mean, I think a lot of people, as Leon said, read way too much into that defense wins championships. I mean, you do have to have a defense, but you got to have a little bit of both.
Yeah, you can't.
Even the Ravens with the team they had a great offensive line and they had Jamal Lewis running the ball.
Yeah, I was going to say that, yeah. Jamal Lewis
yeah.
on the ball.
And if you guys remember with that team, the 2000 Ravens, as great as that defense was, how bad was it in the middle of the season when they had that big drought where they couldn't score a touchdown and they were losing games? And it's still,
they were like 3-5 at one point, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it took them they had to totally revive that offense in order for them to go win anything, as great as that defense was.
Yeah, and my biggest Bengal comparison with Dalton going down right now would be the New York Giants, the Super Bowl 25 team in 1990. Actually, Sims got hurt in the exact same week that McCarron got hurt in. And then Jeff Hostetler, who nobody had ever heard of, comes in, and they won with defense and Otis Anderson running the ball and Hostetler making an occasional play.
Yeah.
So
What about
that can be.
I mean,
you guys are going to have to.
You're
going to have to knock out Tom Brady like Leonard Marshall.
Yeah.
No, we don't need to do that. But hopefully somebody else will do that before we get to him. But, all right, real quick, I want to bring up the fact that, Scott, you want to tell us a little bit about your realbengalfans.com plus your Facebook page? I'm sure Leon is waiting to hear about it so he can go join.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Leon, Houday, man. Houday, I can't wait till you join up, man. We'll give you a great welcome, I promise.
I appreciate it,
yeah. realbengalsfans.com is a website put together. It's membership-based. We also have some writers, and it's actually Bengals fans that have taken, their time to write articles about our Bengals on, basically a biweekly basis. Each article writer does that. We share all the, different articles with the associated Facebook group, and then we have a Facebook page too. The group is about 5,100 strong, real diehard Bengals fans. And we have a blast. We do a little bit of smack talking, but we also do talk fact as well. And then the articles that we write with the Real Cincinnati with the realbengalsfans.com website, it's based on fact. It's not as just let's talk smack kind of thing. It's all pretty much legit. And we got some great writers. We got Sammy Stickler, and then we have Mike Cannon and Brent Bipus, and they do a great job. And so we have a blast with it. It's a membership-based site. And, again, we have the Real Bengals Fans, RBF Facebook group. And we have a great time in that group and throw a bunch of memes around. There's a few about the Steelers in there. Yeah, absolutely.
But so, Leon, you want to go get on that Facebook page immediately?
Oh, I'm going to like it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That'd be great,
definitely like it. I mean, it's all in good fun.
It's all in good fun. Okay.
That's awesome.
Well, it is, Leon. You didn't sound like you believe that.
I believe it. I will. I'm going to join, and I'm going to smack talk with the best of them, so look forward to it.
Nice.
All right.
Oh,
and also, you got to give equal time to Leon. There's also a Facebook page, Steelers Life. Vic Clay, who was on our show last week to give his picks, helps run that. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out our sponsors, Gridiron Mo at www.gridironmo.com and Steelberg Box at www.steelbergbox.com. Great if you know a Pittsburgh Steelers fan you want to give a gift to, Leon, or Scott. You got any Pittsburgh Steelers fans, Scott, that you're friends with?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No.
I try to limit my Steeler fans. My Steeler friends and my 49er fans are limited to the two people that are on this show right now.
Right. Well, I can talk to a Steelers fan as long as they don't bring up the past all the time.
Well, that's all they bring up. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers have their own channel on cable. It's called the History Channel.
Nice. Yes.
Because no matter how much they want to talk, we've been in the playoffs. It'll be 5 years in a row. They'll be in it 2 or 3 times, and neither one of us have won a damn game. So I don't even know what everybody fights about. Y'all lost to Tim Tebow. We lost to T.J. Yates.
Nice.
Well, listen.
But Leon, any final words?
I'm just looking forward to the Steelers to keep rolling. Going up to the game, it's going to be a tough game. I think the Steelers going to pull it out at the end. I think it's
now,
still
you going to be tailgating up there, signing autographs and stuff, or what?
I'll be tailgating. I know, taking pictures, hugging babies, all that kind of good stuff. Steelers fans are the best fans in the world, regardless of what you say. We travel well. We're a nation. We're not some Bengals fly-by-night. There's no bingo nation.
See, ain't that something? You're talking smack. I give you something final to say to leave people with. And you know what it is?
There's a Bengals fan club. There's a Steeler nation. There's a Bengals fan club, and there's a Steeler nation. I'm just,
hey, Leon, all I know is this. Leon, you still worried about the Bengals because your final comments, you talk about the Bengals.
I'm not worried about the Bengals. I'm not worried about the Bengals, not at all. Y'all will be one and done.
We talk about them all a lot.
Yeah, well, you'll get the 2 seed, and y'all probably. I hope we see each other in the AFC Championship game.
That would be fine with me.
That would be beautiful.
Well, it'd be beautiful for both of us. That means we're both in the AFC Championship game.
Well, that means we'll be going to another. That means we'll be going to another Super Bowl, and y'all be watching on TV like you always do.
Yeah, well, maybe you could play Seattle, and you could have the officials screw Seattle over so you could win it.
Oh,
too,
here we
like
go.
You did last time.
See how you try
or maybe if you want, you could shoot all your players up on steroids like they were in the mid-'70s, get them all jacked up, and then you can go win a few more Super Bowls.
So next thing you're going to tell me is that
the only legitimate Super Bowl you guys won was 43, wasn't it?
Next thing you're going to tell me is that they stopped the clock when Montana had the ball. They gave them too much time.
They did.
The Bengals lost that game. But you know what? It's a known fact. It's a known fact that the Steelers' offensive line was rampant with steroid abuse.
When? I don't remember that. When was that?
In the 70s. Look it up, Matt.
Oh, please.
Steve Corson, all them guys? Come on.
Listen.
Look it up, Leon. I'll send you a story about it, and it won't be written by a Bengal writer.
I get one install.
The story will be written by the guys from Real Bengals fans.
No, it won't. If it is, it'll be by me. So, and it'll be fact-based, and Leon won't want to face the facts because he can't handle the truth.
I can't handle the truth.
All right, Matt, any final words?
Not a whole lot. Just expecting to see a few more good games this week. Each week we think we know, and then some other bunch of craziness happens, and and everything just looks upside down again. But overall, I think the NFC stays the same, and the AFC just seems to be changing each week.
All righty, Scott. Final words.
Yeah, just real quick, I'd like to thank you, Mike, for having me on. Matt, it's a pleasure to meet you. Leon, much respect, no matter what team you played for. You're.
Hey, Scott, when I think about Leon, I think about him in a Jaguars uniform.
Nice.
Hey, listen, I was born a Steeler, though. I gave birth to a Steeler.
Right on. Yeah, so if you do end up joining, Leon, I'll just imagine that you're in a Jaguars performance. So.
Now, did we get a picture of? Did we get a picture of Mike holding a terrible towel with a Steeler jersey?
I don't have a terrible towel.
You're not going to.
He was supposed to send me one. He didn't. I
will get you a terrible towel. I'm going up to Pittsburgh
because I need something to wipe my ass with. Because every once in a while, I got 2 boys and they eat a lot. We go through toilet paper so quick that a lot of times I'll get up in the morning, I'll go to do a number 2, and there'll be no toilet paper. This way I can yell, "Hey, Austin, that's my older son, bring me that terrible towel so I can wipe my ass."
That's fine.
I saw Joe Kelly
when you wipe
honor his
ass with it, make sure you throw it over.
Hey, Icky took a picture with a Steelers jersey on.
Yeah, that was. Ooh.
Yeah, I thought Joe Kelly.
You got to give it up to Icky, though. You got to give it up to a man of his word. But wow, that was hard. That was hard.
Yeah, I know. What would you have to do? Like peel your skin off after wearing that, Scott?
Right. No, you wouldn't be able to put it on me, man. You would. Yeah, I'd be running like I was on fire.
Listen, I want that Icky jersey in a poster. All right, and some 8x10s. You can send those to me, please.
Okay, that wasn't a bad. Icky done wore a jersey, damn it. So we played the AFC Championship game. We can see if we can get you an Icky Woods autograph. I've never had a Bengal fan or Bengal player on here that asked for a Pittsburgh Steeler autograph.
Nice.
Of course, none of you ever did that cool-ass cold cuts commercial either, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was nice. I give him that one. That was good. Although it's not better than Joe Green's Coca-Cola commercial, but it's pretty.
Oh, that was a good one too.
Yeah.
But
we gotta figure out a way to get Leon on a commercial like that.
Yeah. Is it true? We could do one. We could do it with like Leon and Scott. We could have Scott walking down there with the Coke and Leon, you want to?
Oh man.
Hey, that's a good commercial. I'll do that.
There you go.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I'll just be worried about my Coke being poisoned, though.
Hey, my question is this. I've been a few places, and the Steelers don't have cheerleaders. Is that because they have no women under 200 pounds, Leon?
We don't have cheerleaders. Listen, we too rough and rugged to be having some women dancing around on the sidelines. It's too damn cold.
Okay, so Miami of Florida wasn't too rough and rugged to do that, though, where you played.
Man, well, what are you talking about, University of Miami?
Yeah. They had cheerleaders.
Yeah, we had cheerleaders. We were superstars back then. That's all. We had the pretty girls, too.
So the Steelers don't. So what you're saying is Steeler players like Ben Roethlisberger don't need girls.
I did not say that.
Yeah, because that was the excuse of why you had them in Miami. But when you got the NFL at Pittsburgh, y'all were big and tough and rough, and you didn't need women.
See how you're trying to misconstrue what I just said? I said because it's too
No,
damn
that's
cold.
what you said. Isn't that bad? Is that not what Leon said? Don't be afraid to tell the truth, Matt. Just because he's a lot bigger than you, he's way far away.
He's trying to catch his breath.
Do Bengals have cheerleaders?
Huh? Yeah, the
cheerleaders?
Bengals have cheerleaders.
Oh, yeah.
They are all for radio. They don't show them on TV, all for radio.
They only show the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders on TV usually.
Well,
do the Steelers seriously not have cheerleaders?
No,
they don't. Neither do they.
Listen, we're entertaining enough. We don't need cheerleaders. Now we need cheerleaders.
I thought the Packers were bad with their college cheerleaders. Well,
at least they got some cheerleaders. Of course, that borders.
Yeah, I didn't know the Steelers didn't have any. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Steelers have no cheerleaders.
No, they're not willing to fly in.
They don't make skirts that big.
Oh, boy.
It's all in good fun. I respect the Pittsburgh Steelers. I respect any team that's 2 games behind the Bengals as they're about to win the division. So,
nice.
That's my final.
Yeah, well,
everybody
who dated that one?
Go ahead, Leon.
Well, even the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. So y'all
that's so old and overused. I don't even know why it's that funny to anybody
still
else.
Good.
All right. All right, everybody, make sure you check out Scott Myers, RealBengalsFans.com. Also, check out the Real Bengal Fans Facebook page where Leon will ask to get into it tonight, and they will let him in. And everybody will play nice until the AFC Championship game, hopefully. Also, check out SteelbergBox.com, www.gridironmo.com, and Steelers Life Facebook page if you're a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. I got nothing on the 49ers, man. You and Dexter doing a show this week?
Yes, we are. We'll be doing it tomorrow night.
Yes, or just you and Dexter?
No, for right now, just him and I. What's that?
Oh, I was just going to mention anytime we play the 49ers, it doesn't matter what game it is, if it's preseason, if it's regular season, if we win, it's redemption for me every time.
I understand. I'd feel the same way if I were
Why
in
would
your
you say
shoes.
that? That's just sad, Scott. We can't make up for a Super Bowl beating them in a regular season game.
I don't care, man. It just makes you feel that much better just knowing we beat them a little bit. It don't
Yeah,
matter.
because I'll be watching the game and I'll be cheering, and my son will go, why do you hate the 49ers? I said, that damn Joe Montana.
Right. He's just too damn good. Yep.
But, all right, guys. Well, we're going to get off here. Make sure you check out the Cincinnati Bengals Weekly Show this week. It'll be me, former Bengal linebacker Joe Kelly, as always. Our special guest this week will be old number 59, Kevin Walker, who is best known as a linebacker for the Bengals that ended Bo Jackson's career. We will preview the Bengals 49ers game and I guess review the Bengals Steelers game. So I'm sure Leon will enjoy that.
I thought you were going to have me on. Well, I just thought you were going to have me on.
All right, you want to be on tomorrow night for like the first 10 minutes?
Yeah, just give me 10. That's all. That's all I want.
All right, I'll give you 5.
There you go. Okay.
I don't know. If you do this, you go sign up for realbengalfans.com, and then you go to the Facebook page, and they like you on there, and they accept you, and everything's nice by tomorrow night, you can come on the Bengal Show.
So I got to get voted on the show? What is this?
Huh?
I got to get voted in before I can do the show at 9? Wow.
Well, it's not voted in. You just have to agree that you are a little bit of a Bengals fan.
No, I'm not, but I'll play.
Hey, Leon, just so you know.
Yeah.
Leon, just so you know, I do all the editing for the show, so if you're on for 5 minutes, I can play it twice.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I also have access to delete the show, so. But, well, we're going to get out of here. Make sure you catch us next week. Catch the Bengals Show Thursday. It will be out. Plus, we'll have a special baseball show with a debate on whether Pete Rose should be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame or not, so make sure you check that out. So, for Leon Searcy, Scott Meyer, Matt Andrew Scavage, I'm Mike Goodpasser. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.